Welcome back to the Sports Den Podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Hooker, and today's episode will be my week 2 thoughts of college football. But before we get into it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Come join the den. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok. You can listen in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor. And let's get straight into it. So, my player of the week is Tyler Van Dyke. Going 21 for 30, having 374 passing yards, 5 touchdowns. I think that what he did this past week showed what Miami wants to be as a team. And that's a team that wants the big games. And they have the people to flourish in the big games with having a quarterback who can push the ball downfield and make those right reads. I think that what Miami wants to replicate with their success, I think it starts with the quarterback position. And I think that Tyler Van Dyke is a great guy to keep the Hurricanes relevant throughout this exciting time in college football. So let's talk about the ACC owning the SEC right now with a 4-1 record. I think that the ACC slander has to go. I think that the SEC nowadays became too top heavy to where we know in the SEC that we're looking at Alabama, LSU, and Georgia for the past 3 years. Where in the ACC you could say Pitt had a good run. You could say Duke is having a good run right now. You can say Clemson has always been there. Florida State's getting back to that elite status. And, it's come to the point where the SEC is like, after those 3 teams, what do the SEC have? You could say an Ole Miss. You could say maybe an Arkansas. Because the second best team on the East is Tennessee, and they just now are starting back to get relevant with them going 10-3. So now you have to look at the SEC a little differently, but I think that when the season ends, I think that there will be more SEC teams in the top 25 than the ACC. But right now, it looks like the ACC is on top, and it's rightfully so because you've seen LSU get dismantled by Florida State. You've seen Wake Forest beat Vanderbilt. And those teams are we were like, hey, we can throw in Vanderbilt in the ACC and let's see what happens. But now that's not even the case. That's all I have to say about that. But let's talk about the culprit. The culprit is Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher is the definition of mediocre to where Texas A&M fans are putting a little heat on his seat, and it should have been there since his second year. Because name me one thing that Jimbo Fisher has done since Jameis Winston. Name me one thing that Jimbo Fisher has done since Jameis Winston. You can't. Because Jimbo Fisher has done a tremendous job using the NIL course to bring in recruits, because look at their past recruiting classes in the past 2 to 3 years. They've been top 5 in the nation, but you can't win. You can't win with the product that you brought in on the field. Because has Texas A&M even made an SEC championship since he's been there? Has Texas A&M even made a New Year's Six bowl since he's been there? He's been a definition of mediocrity, and you know, Texas A&M, they can fire him, but they go after a coordinator. They're like, I don't know, because they want someone proven. Because look at Texas right now. They had fired Tom Herman, and they were like, all right, guys, like we need a guy. So they went out, hired Steve Sarkisian. They gave him 3 years, because if they didn't beat Bama this year and they went on to be mediocre, we would look at him and be like, yeah, he has one more year, then he's gone. But Jimbo signed that extension to where he was a top 5 paid head coach. And now it's to a point where I have to look at Texas A&M like, are you willing to buy out that contract? Because if I was to start a program right now, I'm taking Mark Stoops from Kentucky over Jimbo Fisher any day of the week, because he's done more with less than Jimbo Fisher has done in Texas. Because think about it. The state of Kentucky, what do you think about? Basketball. What do you think about the University of Kentucky? Basketball. He has been to a New Year's Six bowl game with a basketball school, but he made things work. Jimbo Fisher has everything in the world, and somehow he can't make it work. Because honestly, when you think about it, who would you want to lead your program right now? Mark Stoops or Jimbo Fisher? That's all I have to say. And another SEC school, Alabama. Nick Saban, let me holler at you. Because you and Dabo Swinney has the same problem. You guys won't get out of your own way. Because one, here's the similarity. The similarity is that you guys think that an offense that you guys ran in 2015 through 2018 to 2019, heck, even 2020 will work now. But that's not the case. Because A, you guys don't have enough talent to make those things work. Or two, the play calling just stinks, because I know that you guys put an emphasis on the weekly game plan. Because one, why are you guys dropping back Jalen Milroe half the time? Let him move around in the pocket. Do a couple RPOs, do a couple rollout passes, do a couple play actions. But don't just try to make him become a pocket pass. But okay, if you see a lane, run. That's not the way to go. And Nick Saban, I know what you did there with Tommy Reese. Hiring the young kid, think you got everyone on the outside thinking, oh, he's gonna bring in a guy to where he's gonna coach him up and then allow him to have the keys to the offense. You may have everyone else fooled, but you don't have me fooled. You're gonna say, "Hey, kid, this is the way things have been going on for Bama for so long, and this is how it's gonna work." Tom Reese, I'm sorry for you, because your alma mater was happy that you left. Where you put your blood, sweat, and tears into that program, literally as a quarterback, to now, they were happy that you were gone. So, Nick, I need you to fix your stuff, because this is not the way to go. Because shout out to my man Justin, because he told me these are the best 3 offensive coordinators since Saban has been there. No order: Lane Kiffin, Steve Sarkisian, and Brian Daboll. All 3 are not successful coaches, but all 3 had one thing in common: they weren't scared of Saban's discipline or whatever he has, or they didn't fall for all the things he was saying. They said, "Hey, we're gonna run the offense this way, whether he likes it or likes it, loves it, or hates it." They're just not scared of the moment. They're not scared of what the consequences could be, but they know that the benefits on the other side, they can reap those rewards. So now, when you look at those years when they were there, you gotta think like, dang, Alabama offense was looking like a well-oiled machine. Now we're looking at the offense like, all right, what's going on? Let's figure this out now before things get messed up later on to the season. So now, I want to see a little different of everything on the offense to where it benefits it benefits Jalen Milroe's game, and that you cater to his strengths. Because if not, you can throw this season in the trash. Just throw it away. All right. Let's talk about the Pac-12. Pac-12. It's the last dance for you. All right. This is probably the best year y'all ever had. This is probably the first year I'll really consider. You guys can make the playoffs because USC looks good, Colorado looks good, Utah, heck of a comeback win against Baylor. Because if you guys didn't come back, the AP poll would have kicked y'all out of there. Oregon State, Washington. You guys look great, and all these things. I can't just sit up here and be like, what's gonna happen? Because I know somebody has to come out on top, and if they only have one loss, or they're making the playoff, because of how deep the Pac-12 is this year. And Texas, way to go. Quinn Ewers, way to avoid Holly Rowe's question asking what should the headline be. Not saying Texas is back, but saying we got to win more games. Because I know that Texas is back saying it's been overused and overplayed for so many years. But A.D. Mitchell, way to go. Xavier Worthy, way to go. Hey, the run game, way to go. You guys the running backs in the running game, you guys did just enough to beat Bama. And the offensive line, way to go. Because I saw this one clip where the offensive lineman just punked the Bama defender, and the other Bama defenders did nothing. That's how I knew Bama lost the game. Because back then, that wouldn't have happened. But now, all I needed to see. So Texas, way to go. And hopefully you guys can stay consistent, because I want to see you guys in the playoff. I want to see how you guys will play in another big game. All right. So let's get into this AP poll real quick. Ohio State dropping down 1. Florida State moving up to the 3 spot. Texas, arguably the biggest jumper from 11 to 4. Notre Dame, number 9. Alabama dropping down 7. Tennessee dropping down 2. Colorado went up 4. North Carolina went down 3. Washington State's now in it. Iowa's now in it. Miami Hurricanes are in it. UCLA, you're now in it. So, what it looks like this week, you got to be consistent, because if not, you're dropping down the spot. The AP voters are looking at how you win your game and what did you do to win your game. Because as you see, Clemson's out of there. Clemson struggled in the first half against Charleston Southern. So now we got to think what's going on in Clemson now. But overall, great week. And can't wait to see what week 3 has in store. As always, I'm your host, Jonathan Hooker, signing out. Peace.